Hi, good afternoon. This is Woody Ward coming to you on the Fun and Garden Show. We broadcast every week on Saturday morning at 8 a.m. from 100.3 on your FM dial, which is KDXI Radio St. George. And we'd like to thank the University, Dixie State, for allowing us to be able to broadcast and share our information with you folks. And we'd like to thank Sean Denman, who's the manager and the professor there that teaches young people about broadcast. And we appreciate him and appreciate his efforts toward making all this possible for Southern Utah. Like to help you to be able to find us. If you go on the website, we're on funandgarden.com, and that'll bring you up on our website. And if you go up into, as you're facing the computer, if you go up into the right-hand corner at the top, you'll see a couple of links. One of them is to Facebook and the other is to YouTube. And if you click on the Facebook one, you'll go to our Facebook site, and you'll be able to watch our shows and hear them. Whereas on the radio, we just have the audio, we don't have the video. So if you want to watch us in all of our splendor and glory, I'm a pretty good looking guy after all, why go on Facebook and go on the Fun and Garden site on that link. And if you come back to the web and you go on to the YouTube site, it'll take you to our shows. We have a lot of our old shows on there, and you can watch them and listen to them. The one problem with if you're searching YouTube and you're trying to find us without doing the link, why you have to put Fun and Garden show, and it'll bring us up, where Fun and Garden, just plain Fun and Garden, won't bring us up on YouTube. So you got to put Fun and Garden show. Also, subscribe to that if you'd like to help us. It helps us to increase our audience size and makes our sponsors happy. They pay us millions of dollars a week to be on there, and we could really use your support, as well as the on Facebook to like us. I've seen that for years. Please like us on Facebook, but it does help us to know how many people are out there listening and watching every week, so we appreciate that. This week is going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be about gardening. It's going to be about Christmas and Christmas traditions. One of the things that kind of holds a family together is Christmas and the Christmas traditions you have as a family. We have 4 children and 14 grandchildren and 5 great-grandchildren, so we have Christmas traditions that go back quite a few years. And I'd like to share some of those with you. When we moved down to Southern Utah from Salt Lake City, one of the traditions that we always had up there was to drive around one night during the Christmas season and look at all the Christmas lights. And I wondered if they would have as many down here, or if people, because of the climate, didn't maybe decorate as much. And I found out that Southern Utah does really well when it comes to Christmas lights. So that's something you could think of. I know Tucson has a tremendous display out there, and this year the temple's being worked on, so I'm sure they're not going to have their lights this year. But we have a lot of lights in Southern Utah, and it's kind of fun to drive around and see what people have put up. So that's kind of neat. Another tradition during Christmas time is to visit with family members. Sometimes They're family members that are right here in town, and other times they're family members that maybe come and stay with you from out of town. Visiting with the neighbors is something that's quite a tradition, has been for a number of years. We have a great neighborhood that we live in, and we all take each other a plate of cookies or something of that nature, and that's kind of fun, and it's kind of fun to see what your neighbors are doing for Christmas. Gift giving is another tradition of Christmas time. The Christmas season stems from the tradition of the three kings and the Savior's birth, but it's kind of gotten out of hand a bit maybe. But anyway, it's kind of neat to try to visualize what the perfect gift would be for somebody, and be it inexpensive or expensive, try to find something that they really need and appreciate. That's neat. Christmas trees, that's a tradition. We have an artificial tree and have had for many years. And we, on Thanksgiving, the kids come over and we have dinner, and then they bring the tree in, and we all decorate it, and that's kind of fun. And this year my daughter came down from Salt Lake and decorated the tree for us, and we put up the Christmas village for the first time. As you can see behind me on the video, we put up the Christmas village for the first time in quite a few years with her help. And it's been kind of fun at night to watch TV and have the lights and in the village and on the Christmas tree on. Another tradition that's kind of taken hold is the giving of these really fun Christmas sweaters, these crazy sweaters that have the reindeer horns on and the lights on. They light up, or they say something sarcastic or fun. And I know with my daughter's family, they give something like that every year to all the kids and their spouses, and they all wear them to the family dinner, and that's kind of a cute tradition. So that's something. Now, your family may have different traditions, and that's great. I'm just reminding you of a few that we have and the value that they bring into our lives. Good Christmas music. I like the music, the older music, needless to say, from, the Andy Williams and the era of the Christmas carols. When we were kids, we used to get a group of 3 or 4 of us, and we'd go around Christmas caroling, knock on people's door. When they came to the door, we would sing a carol or two and then be on our way. We didn't do it for money or anything like that. We just, I guess, did it because we enjoyed singing the Christmas carols. We did it in school, and in school they would have a program and had the parents come. And I can remember being a little kid in grade school and singing "All I Want for Christmas Is My 2 Front Teeth." And indeed, at that particular age, most of our front teeth are gone. So that's kind of a fun thing. So music, about a week ago, I said to my wife, there's something missing here, and she said, well, it's the Christmas music. So we turned on the Christmas music and listened to it and hear that in the background, even when we're doing cooking or any other thing, dusting, housework, whatever you're doing, writing cards. She makes greeting cards, and so it's fun to have something playing in the background when you do that. One of the things that brings back memories of Christmas, particularly about Christmas trees, is when we used to decorate them as a kid. My mother would always give us the duty to decorate the Christmas tree, and they were live trees then, or well, not live, but cut trees, and we would put the tree up and and put the lights on. The lights were the larger lights that they used to use. And then we would put the ornaments on. But first, before we put the ornaments on, we would get out the icicles. And I don't know how many of you remember the old icicles. And they were actually made out of lead. They were heavy because they were made out of strips of lead. Very thinly cut and very shiny. And then I remember about the time that we were doing this when I was 10 or 12 years old, they came out with the plastic, and they were so light compared to the old ones that it was great. But she would have a star at the back of every limb and put an icicle between every needle on the branch. And when we got through, I mean, it took literally days to put the icicles on. But when we got through, the Christmas tree was really something to behold. And then we would put the ornaments on and the garland. And it reminds me of the movie The Bishop's Wife, and when he magically does the tree, and that has the icicles and the garland on, and there's just something about that that's old-fashioned and great. So anyway, the other thing that I wanted to talk about today that has a lot of traditions is our eating our good food that we have during the Christmas season, which is usually very special. We all go out and we spend some extra money probably, and we buy special things that we have only at this time of the year. And there are things that are traditions that we make, and I kind of like to talk to you about that. Of course, we have we cook the turkey, and we have the ham, and we have some sliced beef, and those are all things that you can buy, and they're pretty easy to do those. One of the traditions in our family, it comes back down from hundreds of years back, as a bread stuffing that we make for the turkey, and it's a tradition, and we really enjoy that. And it's not so much if the turkey turns out, but if the stuffing turns out, everybody really enjoys it. We make it with the bread that's sliced up and dried. Use 2 or 3 loaves of bread, and then we put in some bouillon and some butter, and then with the grinder we grind up celery and a couple of apples, some carrots, mushrooms, and then there's the spices, salt and pepper and garlic salt and onion salt. Oh, and onions, we grind up onions with the other stuff too. And when we've done that to the appropriate amount, then we add it to the bread and mix it until it's moist, good and moist, not dry, but not really wet, but good and moist. And then we taste it, and we found that with dressing, one of the interesting things that happens is that as you cook dressing, it gets less strong. So a lot of things, that they get stronger as they cook, but in this case, it's less. And so when you taste it with that in mind, and then at the end, we put in whole mushrooms to kind of add the picture of what we, the kind of makes it fun to have the big button mushrooms sitting on top. And that dressing is a special part of our Christmas. I'll have to put that recipe online for you. It's not a hard recipe, but it is a recipe. The hard thing about it is at the end you have to make it to your taste. There's just no way to always have the right size apple, the right size onion, the right size carrots, and so it changes a little bit as time goes by, and so you have to season it to your taste. One of the other things that we do that my wife does, what my mother did when we were little, is she made Christmas pudding. Christmas pudding is really a carrot pudding, and I've never made it, so I can't tell you for sure how it's made. But in the old days, I know my mother would cook it for hours. She would use old coffee cans and fill them with this pudding, and then put them in a pot that had 2 or 3 inches of water in, and boil it for hours to make it. It was a very laborious thing to do. And then when it was all done, they would wipe it down with liquor flavor of some sort, brandy or rum, or and then when you serve it, you would keep it refrigerated, and when you serve it, you would heat it up, and you'd put a lemon or an orange sauce on it, the sweet sauce that you would mix up, and that's really good. Now, my wife has found a way, a recipe that you can do that and microwave it, and it only takes like 15 minutes in the microwave, and then you have this Christmas pudding in a loaf, and you can store it and then cut it up and put your orange sauce or lemon sauce on it, and it is really, really good. So that's something that is kind of fun. We make Christmas cookies. We have a night that we take the time and make the roll-out cookies that you roll out on the cookie sheet, and then you take egg whites and brush the cookie and put the sprinkles on it and some frosting, and then we have all these cookies. We usually make 4 or 5 dozen, and the grandkids love them and the neighbors love them, and we always make sure that we have 7 or 8 different colors of sprinkles so that you can have a lot of variety in the cookies. But that's a fun evening to sit around together and to do that. One of the other things that we've done in the past is to make candy, and particularly I in the past have made cashew brittle, and brittle is an old-fashioned candy. It's fun to make. You make it with corn syrup and heat it up, and you get it to a certain hard crack stage, they call it, and put some butter and salt in it and some vanilla flavoring or almond, and then you put the baking soda in it, and the baking soda makes it foam up into a foam, and then you pour it out on a cookie sheet and add the nuts at that juncture if you're going to have a peanut brittle or a cashew brittle, and pour it out on a cookie sheet that's been buttered and let it cool, and you've got your brittle, and it's really kind of fun. And if it's made right, it'll break up, and it'll when you chew it, it'll come apart easily. If you don't put enough baking soda in it, you'll have a brick of hard cast sugar that you can't chew. And ask me how I know that is because I've done that before. So anyway, the brittle is good, and you can put the kind of nuts in it that you like, And one of the other things that's part of our Christmas food is we like to make a good fruit salad. We use bananas and peaches and pineapple and some the dairy topping, the Cool Whip, and we put those small marshmallows in it, and that's a fun tradition. Maybe a few maraschino cherries that we do. One of the other things that we like to do at Christmas is to make a fun chip dip. One of our family traditional ones is to make a shrimp dip, and we use sour cream and some cream cheese and soften it and beat it all up together. Put some onion salt and some garlic salt in it, and put a couple of cans of the little teeny shrimp that they sell. Drain that off and put it in the drainer and run some water through it, and then put it, when it's drained, put it in with the dip and then beat it with beaters. And then I add some ketchup to it, which gives it a particular taste that I enjoy. Turns it pink, and so when anybody sees the pink chip dip, it's shrimp dip. And it's really good, and we enjoy that. We're always on the lookout for new foods. I wanted to show you some of the things that we've come across. This year, when we were over to Walmart the other day, we come across this veggie roaster. It's a new as far as I know, and it's in Walmart. It's in by their spices and mixes, and it's a seasoning blend. This particular one is balsamic vinegar and roasted onion, and you mix it and saute the veggies with it. It shows a picture of Brussels sprouts and cauliflower, and then you put them on the cookie sheet and put them in the oven and bake them. And it's like a marinade for meat. So we're going to try that. That's one of the new things that we're going to try. Another thing that we always do is eggnog. We, when I was a kid, we made eggnog, homemade eggnog with milk and an egg and some nutmeg and some sugar. Now we buy it at the store. I used to have a neighbor that had a Christmas party, and she had the most wonderful eggnog. It was literally so creamy and wonderful. It was almost hard to pour out of a ladle. It was great. Another thing that we do at Christmas time that's kind of enjoyable is stuffing mushrooms. We stuff them with the cream cheese and put some crab and some shrimp in there, and that's really fun to do. And then bake them in the oven. Really, you're baking them just for 10 or 12 minutes, just enough for the mushroom to be softened a little bit and the cream cheese to warm up, and it's good. So on our website or on Facebook, if you have any fun recipes like that, why, post it on our Facebook site or make a comment on our YouTube site. It's, again, funandgarden.com, and then to Facebook and to YouTube, and we'll share those recipes and ideas with other people, traditions that they do at Christmas time. So I would like to wish you a Merry Christmas to you and yours, to your family and your loved ones, and a Happy New Year. And we're going to have a great New Year. Our New Year is going to be prosperous, and hopefully for you and your family, one of safety and love and kindness to each other. And I'm signing off now. My time's up. But again, Merry Christmas, and thank you for your attention.